Prince Harry's hilarious Christmas gift for the Queen that she absolutely loved. Prince Harry will be celebrating Christmas abroad this last year, but it wasn't that long ago that he was enjoying Christmas in England, where he excelled at finding excellent gag gifts for his relatives. The royal family will soon be gathering at Sandringham for their Christmas celebrations. Hosted by King Charles, it's a fun affair with games, lethal martinis, and joke presents. Absent once again from the festivities will be Prince Harry. He last joined his family for Christmas in 2018, months after his wedding to Meghan Markle. But since then, with relations still severely fractured, he has not been invited to the large gathering. Instead, he will be enjoying a considerably quieter time at home in California with his wife and their children Archie and Lilibet, many thousands of miles away from his family. While the Duke is no doubt excited to spend Christmas at home with his young family, he may well be feeling a pang of regret for what could have been. He used to be very much a part of the festive fun, and once presented his late grandmother with a hilarious gift that amused her so much she displayed it proudly a tone of her favorite residences. When it comes to Christmas presents, the royals have imposed a strict ban on anything too lavish. Instead, they prefer to shop around for silly gag gifts or share heartfelt homemade items. And it seems that Harry, 41, excelled in this particular area. He once presented the Queen with a singing fish, which she reportedly loved so much it was hung proudly in Balmoral. The singing fish even made it into a scene in The Crown and Netflix. However, they depicted that Prince Andrew gave her the much enjoyed gift. Another gag gift that Prince Harry reportedly gave his grandmother was a Ain't Life a B*H shower cap. Princess Anne is said to have once given her brother Charles a leather toilet seat cover, and William and Kate apparently gave Harry a Grow Your Own Girlfriend kit back in his single days. The royals exchange their gifts on Christmas Eve, per the German tradition, in a nod to the family's heritage. During the late Queen's reign, royals arrived at Sandringham in order of seniority, with those lower down the line of succession arriving first. They are said to all place their gifts for one another on a table before their exchange, and then they go on to enjoy what Ingrid Seward of Majesty magazine has called lethal martinis. Speaking on Channel 4's 2020 documentary A Very Royal Christmas, Sandringham Secrets, royal expert Katie Nicholl noted, "If you can achieve something that is tongue-in-cheek, and will have the Queen laughing, then you've really done well that Christmas. The more kitsch, the better. Nothing ostentatious, or terribly expensive or lavish, that doesn't really go down well with the Queen." Harry previously spoke about Christmas at Sandringham in his tell-all memoir Spare. In one passage, he recalled receiving a cold-blooded Christmas gift from his great-aunt Princess Margaret. Describing Margaret as displaying coldness towards him, Harry recalled a Christmas Eve when the Queen's younger sister gifted him an unusual present. "Standing before my pile, I chose to open the smallest present first," he wrote. The tag said, "From Aunt Margot." "I looked over, called out, 'Thank you, Aunt Margot.' 'Edo, hope you liked it, Harry,' she reportedly replied. I tore off the paper," described the Duke. "It was a bureau?" I said. "Oh, a bureau. Wow." She said, "Yes, a bureau, but it wasn't just any bureau," she pointed out. "It had a tiny rubber fish wrapped around it." I said, "Oh, a fish bureau. Okay," I told myself. "That is cold-blooded." Harry went on to say he made a surprising connection between himself and Margaret as he got older. "It struck me that Aunt Margot and I should have been friends. We had so much in common. Two spares," he said. "Her relationship with Granny wasn't an exact analogue of mine with Willie, but pretty close. The simmering rivalry, the intense competition, driven largely by the older sibling, it all looked familiar." Prince Harry's cold-blooded Christmas gift from royal relative left him speechless. This Christmas will mark 7 years since Prince Harry last spent the festive period with the royal family. He previously opened up about one of his Sandringham visits, during which he received an unusual gift. Another year, another Christmas that Prince Harry will spend away from the royal family. Harry, Meghan, and their 2 children will spend the festive period in California. thousands of miles away from Sandringham, where the king will host his loved ones. The last time Harry and Meghan spent Christmas with the royals was in 2018 when Meghan was pregnant with their first child, Archie. But with relations between the couple and the royal family still frosty, they will once again be absent from the celebrations. As will Harry's disgraced uncle Andrew, who has this year been stripped of all his titles over the ever-evolving Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Not that Harry, by his own admission, will be missing much. Harry previously spoke about Christmas at Sandringham in his tell-all memoir Spare, recalling one far from impressive gift he was once given. In one passage, he told how he received a cold-blooded Christmas gift from his great-aunt Princess Margaret, the Queen's younger sister. Standing before my pile, I chose to open the smallest present first, he wrote. The tag said, "From Aunt Margot." I looked over, called out, "Thank you, Aunt Margot." "Edo, hope you liked it, Harry," she reportedly replied. I tore off the paper, described the Duke. "It was a bureau?" I said. "Oh, a bureau, wow." She said, "Yes, a bureau, but it wasn't just any bureau," she pointed out. "It had a tiny rubber fish wrapped around it." I said, "Oh, a fish bureau, okay," I told myself. "That is cold-blooded." Harry went on to say he made a surprising connection between himself and Margaret as he got older. "It struck me that Aunt Margot and I should have been friends. We had so much in common. Two spares," he said. Her relationship with Granny wasn't an exact analogue of mine with Willie, but pretty close. The simmering rivalry, the intense competition, driven largely by the older sibling, it all looked familiar. Harry also compared his mother to Princess Margaret. Aunt Margot also wasn't that dissimilar from Mummy. Both rebels, both labeled as sirens. Pablo Picasso was among the many men obsessed with Margot. The British royal family has a long-standing tradition of exchanging inexpensive joke or gag gifts on Christmas Eve, rather than lavish presents. Some of the cheeky gifts exchanged over the years have been very comical, including a leather toilet seat for then Prince Charles, a grow-your-own-girlfriend kit for Prince Harry, and a shower cap for the late Queen with "Ain't Life a B***** emblazoned across it. Speaking on Channel 4's 2020 documentary A Very Royal Christmas, Sandringham Secrets, royal expert Katie Nicholl noted, "If you can achieve something that is tongue-in-cheek, and will have the Queen laughing, then you've really done well that Christmas. The more kitsch, the better. Nothing ostentatious, or terribly expensive or lavish, that doesn't really go down well with the Queen." With that in mind, Princess Anne opted for a highly unusual present for her older brother, King Charles, on one occasion, a leather toilet seat. Former Royal Press Secretary Dickie Arbiter explained why this gift was particularly apt on the show, saying, "What is it we used to call the loo? We would call it the throne. You go and sit on the throne." So buying a leather-bound loo seat was really Princess Anne's way of saying, "Here you are, you've got your own personal throne." Mike Tyndall explains why Prince Louis sits separately at Royal Christmas Lunch. Princess Anne's son-in-law Mike Tyndall has shared some insights about royal traditions, including the 7 different tables at the festive feast. Mike Tyndall is given a glimpse into what a royal Christmas truly entails and why Prince Louis will be dining separately from his parents on the big day. As the son-in-law of Princess Anne, former rugby star Mike is no stranger to royal Christmases. These typically take place at the majestic Sandringham estate in Norfolk, and this year's celebrations are said to be the most bustling in years, with around 45 guests gathering at the Grand Country House, including Queen Camilla's children and grandchildren. There's bound to be plenty of merriment and laughter as the family indulges in their cherished annual traditions. Naturally, this includes the well-known exchange of humorous gifts on Christmas Eve and a Christmas morning stroll to the 16th-century St. Mary Magdalene Church. Then, much like families across the country, the firm will dig into a roast turkey with all the trimmings. Before the main festivities kick off, the monarch also hosts a Christmas lunch at Buckingham Palace, which took place on December 19 this year. However, the seating arrangements might surprise royal enthusiasts. who might expect the three young Wales children to be seated next to Prince William and Princess Kate, reports The Mirror. In 2019, Mike Tyndall, who married Zara Phillips in 2011, shared insights into royal Christmas celebrations on his rugby podcast, The Good, the Beyond the Rugby, revealing that children's festive meals are handled quite differently. When podcast co-hosts James Haskell and Alex Payne questioned him about seating arrangements, asking, "Do you find yourself upgrading every year and getting closer to the main table, or are you off out the back?" They pressed further, "Is there a promotion and relegation based on the year's performance? Because if there is, I imagine you are pretty much sitting on the right-hand side of Her Majesty." Providing a peek behind the curtain, Mike responded, "This is the family lunch. There were 7 tables, so there must have been about 70 of us there. The kiddies have their own little one in a different room." Former royal chef Darren McGrady had previously told the BBC that royal family Christmas traditions require youngsters like Prince Louis to dine separately. He elaborated, "The children always ate in the nursery until they were old enough to conduct themselves properly at the dining table. So for the Queen, there was never a case of putting a high chair at the table with a little baby squealing and throwing food. It was Victorian. The children's place was in the nursery, and Nanny would take care of them. It's your modern-day Downton Abbey." The Prince and Princess of Wales caught royal watchers off guard this year when they failed to appear at the traditional pre-Christmas lunch held at Buckingham Palace. Royal enthusiasts had anticipated seeing the couple arrive with Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis for the yearly gathering. Yet, shortly before the festivities were due to begin, news emerged that the family had already decamped to their Norfolk residence, Amner Hall, to kick off their Christmas break. A source close to Kensington Palace informed The Telegraph. The decision to attend the lunch was made some time ago. King's Christmas speech delivers message of compassion and reconciliation. King Charles has delivered his speech to the nation and the Commonwealth, paying tribute to our greatest generation of war heroes and calling for peace and forgiveness throughout the world. The King has spoken of the need to cherish the values of compassion and reconciliation, as he delivered a message of hope this Christmas. The monarch paid tribute to the courage and sacrifice of our greatest generation of war veterans, but as a way of looking forward to the future, said he had been inspired this year by community heroes he had met on his travels around the world. Amid religious tension at home and abroad, with the devastating terror attacks this year against Jewish communities in Manchester and Sydney, Charles made special mention of the great diversity of our communities, which can help us to find the strength to ensure that right triumphs over wrong. The King's message this year will be marked by his calls for love and respect, no doubt reflecting on his emotional visit to the Nazi death camp Auschwitz in January. As part of the commemorations for the 80th anniversary of its liberation for Holocaust Memorial Day, Charles met survivors and emphasized the importance of remembering past evils to build a kinder future. Echoing these sentiments in his Christmas message, he said, "If we can find time in our journey through life to think on these virtues, we can all make the future more hopeful." In a year where the royal family was encouraged by the Princess of Wales entering remission from cancer and the King this month announcing his own treatment for the disease will be reduced in the new year, the royal family continues to be blighted by the scandal surrounding Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and the activities of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Yet Charles did reference the deep wells of hope and finding peace through forgiveness when faced with times of uncertainty. Speaking of the values of which we must never lose sight, the King spoke over poignant imagery from Windsor Castle for Armed Forces veterans to commemorate the 80th anniversary of VJ Day on May 8 this year. Charles also referenced the journey of the pilgrims and his own historic meeting with Pope Leo this year at the Vatican, where he became the first monarch in 500 years to pray together with the head of the Catholic Church. Pilgrimage is a word less used today, but it has particular significance for our modern world, and especially at Christmas, he said. It is about journeying forward, into the future, while also journeying back to remember the past and learn from its lessons. Wedded this during the summer, as we celebrated the 80th anniversaries of VJ and VJ Day. The end of the Second World War is now remembered by fewer and fewer of us, as the years pass. But the courage and sacrifice of our servicemen and women, and The Way communities came together in the face of such great challenge, carry a timeless message for us all. For the second year in a row, the king chose to record his Christmas speech, the fourth of his reign, away from a royal residence to give the message more of a community feel. Charles spoke from the Lady Chapel in the heart of Westminster Abbey, the spiritual home of the royal family for more than 1,000 years and the burial place of 15 kings and queens including Charles II, Elizabeth I, Mary I and Mary Queen of Scots. Last year's Christmas message was recorded at Fitzrovia Chapel in central London, a former sacred space of the demolished Middlesex Hospital where Diana, Princess of Wales, opened London's first dedicated AIDS ward. The monarch said he continued to draw inspiration from stories of courage over adversity that he has heard personally during his public engagements. He added, "It seems to me that we need to cherish the values of compassion and reconciliation, the way our Lord lived and died." This year, I have heard so many examples of this, both here and abroad. These stories of the triumph of courage over adversity give me hope, from our venerable military veterans to selfless humanitarian workers in this century's most dangerous conflict zones, to the ways in which individuals and communities display spontaneous bravery, instinctively placing themselves in harm's way to defend others. The king chose not to speak about his own health battles, instead deciding to convey a message of community cohesion from his own experiences. Royal sources said, "As I meet people of different faiths, I find it enormously encouraging to hear how much we have in common, a shared longing for peace and a deep respect for all life," he added. "If we can find time in our journey through life to think on these virtues, we can all make the future more hopeful." As war continues to rage in Europe following Russian tyranny in Ukraine, the king personally asked a choir from the country to be a part of his Christmas message. Songs for Ukraine Chorus, founded in 2023 in response to the war and bring together singers from across the Ukrainian community and supporters living in the UK, sang the carol, Carol of the Bells, based on a song by Ukrainian composer, Mykola Leontovich. In the background of the broadcast, which also features scenes including the Prince of Wales and Prince George at a London homeless charity and the Princess Royal visiting a rehabilitation facility for military personnel in Kyiv, are Christmas trees repurposed from the Princess of Wales together at Christmas Carol concert, staged at the Abbey earlier in December before the King's message was filmed. The King's speech was broadcast to the nation at 3 p.m. on Christmas Day and is now available on YouTube. King Charles' Christmas message of peace should be a lesson for us all. The King has had a remarkable year enduring his weekly cancer treatment while dealing with tough family problems, and royal editor Russell Myers says his Christmas message speaks above it all. The King's message of peace and reconciliation should be a lesson for the world this year. Amid attacks on Jewish communities both at home and abroad, and wars raging in Europe and the Middle East, the monarch has used his lifelong role as a convener of peoples to speak of hope above all. As 2025 draws to a close, just as the Princess of Wales said during her carol concert broadcast on Christmas Eve, at a time when life can sometimes feel fragmented or uncertain, the Christmas season invites us to remember the power of reaching out to one another, with generosity of heart, understanding and hope. The King has had a remarkable year, enduring his continued weekly treatment for cancer, leading the nation on the commemorations of our greatest generation of war heroes on the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War, and making history with his visit to the Vatican where he prayed with the Pope. Charles has also had to endure further fallout among his own family, plunging to the depths of his disgraced brother Andrew's dry relationship with a convicted sex offender, leading him to do what his late mother could not and strip him of his royal titles and send him into exile. His relationship with his estranged son remains ever more fractious, being placed in a difficult position as Prince Harry's pleas for reconciliation following years of raging against his own family. Yet, 2025 can end in a personal high. Just as the year started with the Princess of Wales announcing she had entered remission from cancer, the King earlier this month was able to announce that his own treatment schedule will be reduced in the new year. After nearly 2 years of uncertainty following his cancer diagnoses in February 2024, hope is on the horizon. Despite all this, it emerged this week that the king has been the hardest working royal of the last 12 months, an incredible accomplishment given what has been at his door. It is a testament to the man who is as keen as ever to fulfill not only his duty but his destiny as king. Those close to Charles suggest he is relishing what is to come, with further plans to travel around the country and the Commonwealth as he seeks to cement his legacy according to the key principles of his reign, specifically climate, community, culture and Commonwealth. Following his diagnosis with cancer in February 2024, a fifth C was added to his list of working priorities, and he will continue to support those who are dealt a diagnosis and help shine a light on the actions needed for early diagnosis and treatment. Just as the king has spoken of being inspired by the good actions of others helping their communities across our nation and the world, let us too take inspiration from his message of peace. Kate Middleton let slip that George and Charlotte broke huge royal Christmas tradition. The countdown is on until the royal family's big Christmas gathering at Sandringham with the king, and there are a number of traditions they will follow over the festive period. Christmas is a time for families and loved ones to come together. And the same is true for the royal family, who annually gather together at Sandringham in Norfolk to celebrate the festive season. Like so many of us, they have a number of traditions they like to follow, many of which track back to their German heritage. One of the key customs sees the likes of King Charles, Prince William and Princess Kate exchange their gifts on Christmas Eve instead of Christmas Day, a custom introduced by Prince Albert. The present giving takes place following afternoon tea on the 24th. Writing in his memoir Spare, Prince Harry revealed, "We were at Sandringham in a big room with a long table covered with white cloth and white name cards. By custom, at the start of the night, each of us located our place, stood before our mound of presents. Then suddenly, everyone began opening at the same time. A free-for-all, with scores of family members talking at once and pulling at bows and tearing at wrapping paper. But the Princess of Wales once let slip that her eldest two, Prince George and Princess Charlotte, broke this royal tradition and opened presents a day later." On December 25, 2018, Kate told a royal fan outside the church on the estate that her children were up very early to open their gifts. It's not known if the German tradition has stopped in recent years or if William and Kate's brood simply opened their family gifts on December 24 and then their presents from Father Christmas on December 25. When it comes to buying gifts for her children, Kate reportedly likes to opt for practical gifts instead of anything lavish. Royal author Katie Nicholl previously told OK! George enjoys his iPad at school. Both he and Charlotte are quite tech-savvy and, like most children, there probably are technical gadgets and such like on their wish list. I am sure they're not going to want for anything, but when it comes to technology and screens, they are careful not to spoil them with extravagant gifting," she added. "If it is something that happens to be a computer game or something like that, then they are cautious of screen time, so it could be more practical gift." Some of the gifts exchanged by other members of the royal family over the years, meanwhile, have been very comical, including a leather toilet seat for Charles, a grow-your-own-girlfriend kit for Harry and a shower cap for the late Queen with "Ain't Life a B**** emblazoned across it. Exchanging gifts isn't the only Christmas Eve ritual at Sandringham. Traditionally, on the 24th, the family has a black tie cocktail reception and formal dinner, with a classic festive meal served on Christmas Day. According to Darren McGrady, a royal chef during the late Queen's reign, the meal usually consisted of homemade sage and onion stuffing, Brussels sprouts with bacon and chestnuts, sometimes parsnips and carrots. It varied year to year, mashed potatoes and roast potatoes, homemade. Gravy, then Christmas pudding with brandy sauce. Later in the day there would be afternoon tea, and that always included a chocolate Yule log, a Christmas cake made by the chefs in the kitchen, and a selection of chocolatey pastries. When it comes to entertainment, Charles Anson, former press secretary to the late Queen, previously revealed the royals will also sit down for some family fun. There is a long tradition of Christmas and party games, and things like charades have always been popular with the Queen. that started during the war when they were holed up at Windsor and couldn't go out because of the air raids, he told The Independent. It's thought that charades takes place after the Christmas lunch and before the family sits down to watch the monarch's annual Christmas Day address to the nation. According to former royal butler Paul Burrell, however, the late Queen preferred not to watch herself on TV, revealing that she would instead take the dogs out during her speech. Charles, meanwhile, enjoys putting on some traditional Christmas Day activities for all the royals. Paul explained, "In the hallway, there is Adable with a wooden jigsaw puzzle which everyone has a goat over the period. It's very homely with a huge log fire and they all thoroughly enjoy it. I think the king enjoys the tradition and familiarity. I had a view on Harry and Meghan but that completely changed after Netflix documentary Prince Harry and Meghan Markle released a divisive documentary on Netflix in 2022 after stepping away from royal life. With former rugby star Matt Dawson want to change his view. Former rugby star Matt Dawson explained what made him complete a U-turn in his opinion of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The ex-scrum half was one of millions to tune into the couple's Netflix documentary back in 2022. And ahead of watching, Dawson was not expecting completely positive things from the pair. Speaking at the time to The Express, he said, "In the first 10 minutes I was thinking, oh no, this is like a woe is me type doc." He then went on to say that one specific line from Markle absolutely and completely changed his outlook on the pair. The line he was referring to was the segment which saw Markle say, "The past 6 years of my life, books are written about our story from people who I don't know. Doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?" That triggered Dawson to quickly change his mind after believing Thathy were both deserving of their chance to tell their story from their own perspective. He said, "I just thought, do you know what, in their environment and where everyone is going to have a view of Harry, because he is a bit of an adopted son to everybody after what happened in the past, is sort of thought, okay, go with it. We all want to know what they are like, so why don't we just get to see what they are like? It is what it is, but at least it's in their voice. We're obviously all interested in it and we are getting those little nuggets that we wouldn't have known before, so it has definitely served its purpose. Let's separate, let's not worry about the deal and what their life is now. We are interested in the nature ofus and the royal family is that we want to know what is going on and we are getting told from the horse's mouth, so let's embrace it and take it on board." Dawson, now 53, enjoyed a glittering career on the rugby pitch. Her represented Northampton and the London Wasps before retiring in 2006. Dawson won the Heineken Cup in 2000, as well as the Premiership with Northampton in 1999, before claiming the title again with Wasps in 2005. He also went on to earn 77 caps for England, captaining the side on a host of occasions, while he enjoyed 3 tours with the British and Irish Lions too.